She's on that train.
I'm sitting here, Mayor Adams.
She's going to be dialing 911.
First of all, I ride the subway every day. I've worked as a public defender in this city and represented thousands of people. So please.
Mayor Adams, after insisting the New York City subways are safe, today he acknowledged that passengers, and he included himself, are worried about crime underground. This after a young woman was pushed to her death.
Earlier you asked me to point out the rhetoric. Earlier you asked me to point out specifically what you say to fairmonger about crime, so I just would like to say Exhibit A.
The Breakfast Club had your boy Eric Adams as their guest. Oh, and when I tell you he got cooked by Oleyemi Olorin. You don't know who she is? You about to right now. She's about to expose the subway safety situation and how Mayor Eric Adams' rhetoric is not looking good. And after this interview, I already know publicly, man, listen, his ratings, oh, they're definitely going to go down. They're not going to like your boy after this right here. She's about to expose it all. Sit back and react with your boy. If you like reactions like this, consider hitting the like button and definitely subscribe to the channel. Let's see how this is about to play out. Let's go.
It's going to hurt a lot of people to even drive in the city, and people are scared of the subways. You know, with everything been going on, people getting pushed into the train stations, crime, and people are scared of New York City.
That's a lot. Let's unpack. Let's do the first one first.
What's
the congestion pricing happening?
I
have.
Hold on to
we all have.
Let's break it down for a moment. Let's break it down in pieces so we can really understand it. First, let's deal with the stuff about people are scared of the subways. When I became mayor, no one wanted to be on the subway. We got over 4 million daily riders. I was talking to one of my guys. I was talking to a sister the other day, and she said, "You know, we have about 200-300 crimes happening on the subway system. We have 6 felonies a day on our subway system out of 4 million riders. Look at those numbers. Our subway system is a safe system, and we put in additional 1,000 officers to do the high visibility to deal with the reality, because safety is not only felt; it's perceived. So, if those 6 felonies, we got to get rid of. We're clear on that. But people are back on our subway system. But when you deal with specifically congestion prices, a lot of people don't realize these are the city streets, but we had no authority on it. Albany passed the law and turned it over to the MTA. This is the MTA's baby. They should have allowed the city to be able to control how congestion pricing was done. So that $15, we were able to fight to get $100 million to deal with the environmental impact in the Bronx. We were able to fight to get those who are shift workers to get a discount, those who make less than $50,000 to get a discount. But this was a bill that came out of Albany.
So you don't agree with it, or do you agree with it?
No, I agree we got to deal with something with the congestion in our city.
Again, do you agree with it or do you not agree with it? Are you dancing around this question or are we not? I don't hear any music. Y'all hear music? What's going on?
But you don't pass on the cost of that on low income New Yorkers or those who have to come to Manhattan. You may have to have go into your chemotherapy, and this is the doctor you have to go to. You should not be hit over the head because of
people that live in the area. They're saying that people that actually live in the area, when they drive, if they got to drive uptown to the doctor or they got to drive, they get charged too.
Yeah, but I'm not feeling people that live in the area. Central Manhattan, south of 60th Street, has the best transportation system on the globe. You got crosstown trains, you have south and north trains, you have buses that go across town. There's no place else on the globe that you have the greatest access to public transportation.
All right, you see the rhetoric? Now let me bust something down to you. No Diddy. Check this out. Now let me stop playing with y'all, but look, let's get serious right here. They're talking about they want to stop congestion, right? It's a congestion problem. Understandable. Now look at it this way. Either way is going to be congested. People have to go to the city for what they're going. No one goes to the city just to sightsee. You understand? You might get 1% that go do that, all right? I'm not going to act like no one does that. But on the same note, the majority of people are handling business. They're either going for a dinner, they're either going for an appointment, they're either going for an interview, they're either going for a job, a gathering, a game, etc. They still have to go over there. So either way, if you're saying congestion prices, what? You're either going to have to pay to go through the toll or you're going to have to pay to go through the subway. So either way, congestion is not going to stop. So if you ask me, that's a money grab. Y'all just figured out, whoa, there's a lot of people there and we can get money off of all of these people. You see how much the tolls are getting? Now we can get this money as well. Come on, man. We know it's all about the money at the end of the day.
And people south of 60th Street. So I'm not feeling them. If they're saying that, we don't want to pay, you know what, you need to get on the train. I take the train, so you could get on the train. I'm talking about low-income New Yorkers should not have to carry the burden of that. And we ask to have more and a greater input and the shaping of that, but we don't. People don't often realize we're creatures of Albany. Albany passed the laws. We have to implement the laws that are down here.
Would you get on the subway?
Yeah, I think you're right that there is a difference between perception and fact and how people feel about safety and the way people feel about the subways. And I think it's your own rhetoric about the subways that has a lot to do with why people feel scared, despite the fact that millions of people ride the subway every day without incident. But you've continued to fearmonger about crime in the subways. You've added 2,000 police officers, despite the fact that you've acknowledged that the subways are not that dangerous. And I think you're right. Poor New Yorkers should not be the ones who bear the brunt of this, but they will if they already have the subway being turned into a place that they have to fear, that there's a National Guard, that there's a hyper-visibility of police, that they're trying to stop people with certain records from even using them, and now you have this congestion price. So how do you reconcile that?
Well, let's go before. First of all, I would love to give me the quotes on my rhetoric, because I'm lost on that. Can you give me the quotes?
That you fearmonger about the subways?
Yeah,
you've consistently done that since the day one of your administration. One of the first things you did was add 1,000 officers to the subway because you claimed that the subways are unrideable. You and Hochul did this and said how dangerous it is, and you recently did that when you deployed the National Guard.
Hey, she definitely got a point. If you don't believe me, watch this clip right here.
Many riders say they no longer feel safe taking the New York City transit system. Tonight, Mayor Adams admits they have a point.
They don't feel that way now. I don't feel that way when I take the train every day or when I'm moving throughout our transportation system.
The mayor's stunning confession that even he does not feel safe using his own city's public transit.
Now, in hindsight, if the subways ain't safe and you have congestion prices and you forcing people to get on a means of transportation which isn't safe, what are we really saying here? What are we really saying about New Yorkers? Think about that one.
Sister, but that wasn't my question, Queen. My question was, what was my fear mongering? What did I say?
You continuously say, I could point to a number of videos and quotes and everything from you, but you've said repeatedly that the subways are dangerous, that New York is dangerous. You complain about crime relentlessly. So what I'm saying to you is, if you are saying that New York is the safest city, it's one of the safest big cities in this country, which is true, and you're recognizing that the subway stations are in fact not half as dangerous as they're presented to be, I'm saying, how do you reconcile how your rhetoric has played into people's fear?
Okay. And not even just rhetoric, I would say the actions, because she's right. If you tell us
which is different,
but it's the same thing though. If you put 1,000 police officers in the subway, 2,000 police officers in the subway, that don't make us feel safe. We think something's wrong if you do
it. Let me peel back again, because you got to always peel back this stuff, because oftentimes how you're depicted in the media that I don't control is how people interpret you.
Who cares how you depict, man? It's what's being done. It's what we see. You understand? It's not how the media is making you look. It's what you're saying. It's your rhetoric. You trying to twist this right here. You trying to shuck and jive. You think you could do that because you're at a hip hop station. No. It's a new day and age, baby.
I didn't put the National Guards in the subway. The governor did.
I know, but I know what you said.
But you said, Eric.
You stood with Governor Kathy Hochul and you co-signed that decision. You did. And I'm not saying this as someone who's following social media. I'm saying that as an attorney in the city and an activist who follows everything that you do.
Yeah, I'm glad you do. Because then you realize how I turned the city around. If you follow everything I do, you realize
I would say no, but we could get to that next.
Loosen up your time, man, Adams. Yeah, it's gonna be a long day.
And I enjoy every moment of it.
That's right.
Because this is what I do.
Right.
When you come with a serious history, if you follow everything I do, you know how long I've been doing this, and you know what my record is. So let's peel back what you just stated. When fear is perceived and felt, that's what fear is. So no matter, as I shared, that we have 6 felony crimes a day with 4 million riders, if people feel unsafe, when we get in the subway system, I ride the subway system and I talk to commuters, and I say, what are you feeling and how do I help you with that fear? They say, Eric, we see more visible uniform officers in our subway system. We're going to feel safer.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
We got it. Oh, let me, can I peel
You can talk. You can peel it back.
So we got it that the numbers are down.
How about this? Think about it like this. Ask an inmate when they're in prison and they're locked up, what do they see? And ask them if they feel safe, because there's nothing but police around them and they are not safe at all. Far from it. It's impossible for you to control everything. You understand? Think about that right there. When you see a whole bunch of police in the subway system, that right there is already sparking fear. Why are they here? Don't just listen to what he's saying. Think for yourself.
Talk. You can peel it back.
So we got it that the numbers are down. We got it that we're back on the subway system post-COVID. But when we see, this is what the public is saying, when we see the visible presence of a uniformed officer, we feel safer. Now, you may say, Eric, I don't want to see a visible presence of a uniformed officer, and that's cool, but that's not what the overwhelming number of New Yorkers are saying.
And I'm saying to you, the New York City Comptroller, Brad Lander, recently put out a report finding that 50% of the city is disappointed and does not feel safe based on your rhetoric about the subways and your over-police presence.
Let me ask you a question. Do you feel safe going into a subway system with metal detectors? Let me know in the comments. Watch this clip right here.
These are the guns that we train with when we practice at the academy. Go ahead, Mike, walk through. That's a real gun, but it doesn't have the firing pin in it. Scott? Yeah, it said it. It said it all. Yeah,
Look, right here.
Right.
And it shows where the gun is. That box there?
Wow.
Hold on. So he had a gun on his right side. That box there is showing you where the gun is.
And like Commissioner Gerber said, we're only allowed to search this area, investigate this area where the alert alerted on.
Bunch of bullshit.
Okay, but sister, first of all, that's not what it says based on Eric's rhetoric. That's not. You keep using.
No.
They didn't say. Did they say based on Eric's rhetoric?
Do you want to talk about based on your specific?
No, sister, I'm going back to what you said because you're an attorney. You
They
deal with
have.
facts. Did they say based on Eric's rhetoric?
They have. The city is. They have multiple reports. The New York Times, the Gothamist, the City Comptroller, and the Federal Monitor, who's tasked with making sure that NYPD and Rikers are in compliance with the law, have both submitted reports saying that since you became mayor, there's been a return of stop and frisk. That there have been over 15,000 stops, 97% of whom have been on Black and Hispanic people. A fourth of those stops and searches have been unconstitutional, and they've yielded very few results.
Now let's peel it back. Eric Adams, 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement, testified in federal court that the federal court judge stated, based on Eric's testimony, we are going to rule against the police department. We were dealing with 1 million stops a year when I was with 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement. My advocacy is what turned it around from that 1 million stops a year. Look at the numbers right now.
I am looking at the numbers.
My advocacy and showing how to do policing correctly, because it's not that you want to eradicate proper police practices, you must make sure they do them right. And that is what I have been able to accomplish in this city, taking over 13,000 guns off the streets of the city of New York, who the victims are Black and brown people.
All right, you're going to take credit for what police officers are doing, but then when they do something wrong, you want to jump away from it? It don't work like that. You didn't take no guns off the street. That was the officers. That was their due diligence. You cannot take credit when credit is not due for you, my man. Word.
When I go to community meetings and talk to community residents, they don't tell me, Eric, we don't want more police. They say, Eric, we want our police doing their jobs correctly. And that is what I'm doing.
The federal monitor, who is tasked with ensuring that NYPD is following the law, conducted an analysis.
Came under who?
Conducted an analysis that happened 8 years ago, but they're still here monitoring what you're doing. And they said that you have brought back stop and frisk policies that are worse than they saw even during the Bloomberg era. But more importantly, they analyzed the neighborhood
Show me that.
I could show you the report is available, and I know it's been available to you because your spokesperson has commented on it. They did an analysis of over 10 precincts,
you can't keep putting out
10
stuff
different
that's not
precincts.
factual,
That is
sister.
factual. There's a federal
facts.
monitor reporting to Judge T. Swain on it and presenting
said
the
what?
information.
Since
They
Eric-
said that, yes, listen, let me finish so you can peel it back. They conducted an analysis of 10 different precincts, and of the stops of 10 different precincts, they found that 97% of them, by the way, of the neighborhood safety teams that were disbanded in 2020 because of their disproportionate abuse against Black and Hispanic people that you revived, they analyzed 10 of those different neighborhood safety teams and found that they're conducting 97% of their stops on Black and brown people, and a quarter of them are unconstitutional. That's what the federal monitor said, not me.
Yeah, and at the same time, let's be clear on this, because what you're giving the perception of, this is a federal monitor that came in long before I was mayor. Can we agree on that?
Yes, they monitor NYPD, not you specifically. You're the mayor.
Right. Number two, I have been the mayor for 2 years and 3 months. We've had a tradition of over-policing for generations.
And they said it's worse now that you're here.
That I fought for.
It is worse.
Issues of over-policing for generations that I fought for. We acknowledge what my history is in this place. So
irrelevant.
2 years and 3 months, we are turning around, not only over policing, but we're turning around the crime. Because when I came to this city, we had a 40% increase in crime. And most of that crime, black and brown communities.
You became mayor after a global pandemic in which there was record unemployment, business loss, homelessness, and you're not drawing that connection to it. You're making no. But what I'm saying is crime is connected to what is happening in the city and the experiences of people. This is the most expensive city in the world. We had a global pandemic where businesses closed and people were out of work. So if you saw crime, it was connected to that.
But you're saying also private sector jobs. Come on.
Also, you're saying that you've turned it around, NYPD's abuses. But just last year, we paid out $150 million in settling police misconduct from NYPD, and that was double the number. That's double the number in police misconduct since you became mayor.
I noticed something. I noticed how much passion and commitment you have.
It's one of your constituents. Right?
Yeah, well, and I'm one of my constituents too now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I grew up in this city. I noticed, and this is what I hear often of those who articulate when a person in a blue uniform commits an inappropriate act. Balance that with what we're doing to take the violence out of our communities. Because I know what I hear when I go to these community meetings.
Nah, you don't know what you hear because obviously it's going in one ear out the other.
I know what I hear when I go speak to these mothers who lost their children to violence. I know what I hear. You're not even talking about that at all.
You know, first of all, I was a public defender.
New Yorkers don't feel safe.
But that's what you said. That's what you said.
And my original question was about how you relate to that.
You said that New Yorkers don't feel safer.
Yeah.
So
there was a poll that came out last week.
Yeah.
Right. And in that poll that came out by the CBC, it stated that the priorities of Mayor Adams is moving the city in the right direction. My priority. Now remember, 2 years, 3 months, brother. It's 2 years, 3 months. I inherited a pandemic. I inherited 180,000 migrants and asylum seekers that can't work, that we have to house them every day. I inherited.
You called for a lot of them too, though.
No, we didn't, brother.
You said it was a sanctuary city. You told them.
Okay, let's see. That's why it's important to have this conversation. I've been on Rikers Island more than any mayor in the history of the city, talking with inmates and correction officers to turn around what's happening on Rikers Island.
I know you go to Rikers in 2022 and there were 3 deaths back to back because corrections officers left their posts and allowed it to happen. You went to Rikers to express your support for the corrections officer. I know you go to Rikers. I do want you to do, Eric, Mayor Adams.
But you keep giving out misinformation.
It's not misinformation, Mayor Adams. I'm quoting the Monitor.
I was on Rikers Island this week. With a group of 12 young brothers who recommitted themselves to Christ. I went to see them in the morning. We prayed together because they said, this is not the first time you've been here. You've been here over and over, visiting us, talking to us, nurturing us, because I know what it's like to be locked up because I was locked up as a child.
I know you were.
So I know what it's like to be treated unfairly because I'm dyslexic. When you do an analysis of the number of young brothers and sisters who are in Rikers or in jail, they're dealing with learning disabilities because they were never given the support that they have. That's why I have dyslexia screening, so we can catch people who are thrown overboard before they get thrown overboard. So we have a philosophical disagreement.
I'm glad that you brought up Rikers.
Your feelings towards police is different from mine.
These are not this is not about my feelings to police. This is about the actual statistics that I presented from the Federal Monitor monitoring what you do.
What do you say about her statistics, though? I mean, these are statistics.
These are Federal Monitor. Are you disputing with the Federal Monitor and the comptroller?
Think about this for a moment. Controller Brad Lander. Okay, please. But we're going to throw people in names on who we are independent sources. He should not be one of them. Think about this Federal Monitor.
The one that was independently elected by the people of New York, placed there?
But I was independently elected also.
And we've been there, and I'm addressing you.
So what is?
Think about this for a moment. The Federal Monitor wants to take over Rikers, okay? Rikers has been dysfunctional for generations. I came in, decreased violence, put in real incentive programs for young people there, but I didn't do it from a distance. I went to Rikers and walked the halls and talk with inmates. We're doing workshops and support groups with inmates and find out, what do you need to be here? We instituted real turnaround programs there with the sisters that's now the correction officer. I mean, that's the commissioner of corrections there. So I didn't do like other mayors. I didn't sit back and say, let me just turn my back on what's Rikers. I said to those Rikers inmates when I got elected, I'm coming here, I'm going to see what you're going through. I want to make sure you leave here better than how you got here in the first place. And we started instituting programs to do so.
Hey, look, listen, Mayor Adams, I don't think you will be reelected this term for real. Because the New Yorkers that I know, they don't agree with your rhetoric. They don't agree with your ways. They don't agree with your direction. We need a new mayor. We need someone who's going to run this town the right way, right? If you agree with me, go in the comments, run it up, flood it up. If you like reactions like this and you stuck to this part of the video, consider hitting the like button. Definitely subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell.